I started this channel as your boy Deluxe Man, and the main thing this channel was focused on was the in-ring product. The wrestling. You're called professional wrestling, right? What's the main thing that matters? The wrestling. You have wrestlers inside a wrestling ring in front of a wrestling audience with wrestling commentators. So why shouldn't the main thing be about the wrestling? That has been my main focus for over 13 years. And I pushed for it. And I said, God damn, all these segments and promos. Too much talking. I want wrestling. Are you ready for some wrestling? I want the action. And you know what? Looking back on it, I should have wanted the action because we wasn't getting a lot of it. Back then, yes, you had TNA. Yes, you had other wrestling promotions, Ring of Honor and PWG and all that kind of stuff. But I mainly watched WWE. There wasn't a lot of wrestling. And the wrestling we got sucked. And as much as I know characters and storylines are important, the segments, the promos, the characters back then were terrible. No one cared about that slapstick comedy bullshit that was shoved in front of our face. Remember the Raw host? The celebrity host that hosted Raw every week? Holy crap, that was terrible. Freaking Hornswoggle and the anonymous GM. The Divas getting 30 seconds. Man, look here. I understand characters and storylines are very important. But when they have substance and they're actually good. My thing was, all I cared about was the action. I want my wrestling, and I want it to be good. And so for years, I pushed for it. I want more wrestling. Push the guys that were good at it. Push Daniel Bryan Danielson. Push CM Punk. Push Dolph Ziggler. Give me more of Kevin Steen. Give me more of El Generico. Give me more of Kenny Omega. Give me more of the Young Bucks. Give me more of the Motor City Machine Guns. Give me more. More of Samoa Joe, of AJ Styles. Give me more of the people that were good inside the ring. That I knew if I invested my time into, when it came to nut cutting time, I was going to get a 5-star match. Whether it was with New Japan Pro Wrestling, Kazuchika Okada, Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, Hiroki Goto, we'd be here all day. Tetsuya Naito. Some of you are like, who are all these people? Exactly. Whether it was with Lucha Underground, whether it was with NXT, or for some reason whatsoever, it was with WWE. All I cared about was the in-ring product. And I pushed for it, and I pushed for it. And then something crazy happened. The business started to shift away from all these segments and talking. And started focusing more on the wrestling. The in-ring product got better. And then, believe it or not, the business got better. All of a sudden, now people were tuning into the shows more. Now these storylines and characters, they have a reason to actually exist. Because they put more effort into the matches, into the in-ring product. And then, as the years go by, the in-ring product became perhaps the best it's ever been. Every single show you watch, whether it's WWE or AEW, maybe even TNA. Even TNA, Impact Wrestling. You are guaranteed at least one good match. You can have a show of, 7 matches, women's matches, tag matches, whatever. All of them can be basic, blasé. One of them is going to be good, if not great. It is guaranteed now. It's almost expected. I don't think I've seen one show over the last maybe 5 years or something. Again, we're talking specifically modern day wrestling here. I don't think I've seen one show where there wasn't at least one good match on there, which is incredible. And nowadays, it's almost like every show has a good match, more than one, plethora. You might even get an awesome match. Some of them have match of the year candidates. The quality of wrestling has never been better. It's never been better. And I think that ultimately is part of the reason why the business is still thriving. Because it's still making profit. It's making a lot of businesses happy. A lot of shareholders, a lot of advertisers happy. Even though wrestling is still the red-headed stepchild of entertainment, people are still spending good money. Hard-earned money to come watch these men and women perform. And now we get to the part that is going to piss a lot of you off. Because when we talk about what I think is holding back wrestling now, one of the biggest aspects about wrestling that I think is hurting it, I feel like we've gone from one extreme and just traded it for another. Here we go. I feel like the biggest thing I have an issue with, my biggest issue with both WWE and AEW, it's not just AEW, with wrestling nowadays, is that we've gone away from storylines and characters and primarily focused too much on the in-ring aspect. There is such a thing. There is such a thing as extremes. Too much of something. And so now I put myself in a situation where I almost feel like a hypocrite. I feel like I'm about to betray myself. And I know the AEW fans are just like, oh, you only feel that way because such and such went to WWE, whether it's CM Punk or Cody Rhodes. You only feel that way because your favorites are saying this. No, I've actually felt this way for a while. This was way before the whole AEW versus NXT stuff. I think it's because I just grew up. I got wiser. I changed. I understood entertainment more. Because I myself became an entertainer, in a sense. And I also think what changed it was the fact that I got a chance to speak to people in the business. I had an opportunity to speak to Victoria, Lisa Marie. I had an opportunity to speak to ODB, to speak to Chris Van Vliet, to speak to Mick Foley, to speak to Lita, to speak to, my goodness, I've lost track, Natalia. I've had a chance to speak to these minds, these great, brilliant minds in the business. Jim Ross, Bret Hart. I've had a chance to, even if it was for 10 seconds, I had an opportunity, Booker T, I had an opportunity to pick the minds and speak to people about how the business really, really works. And these are people who aren't just regular wrestlers. These are legends. These are people in the business who have made millions from a niche audience, from a niche business. These guys have built a career off of professional wrestling. And the one thing that they've all told me is that no matter how good they were inside the ring, and Booker T was excellent, no matter how good they were as professional wrestlers, who's able to get in there and have long matches and kill it and do all this kind of things that make people go, damn, this wrestling thing is pretty cool. The one thing they all have in common is the fact that they said it doesn't matter how good we are inside the ring. If there's not a character, if there's not a story, they don't care. They will not care. I can go out there and do all kinds of 360s and 450s and 720s and blow people's minds. They're not going to come back and see me next week unless there's a story there. They'll enjoy themselves for the moment, but I've given them no reason to watch episodically every single week. And over time, I kind of noticed as we went further and further away from characters and stories and started focusing on wrestling and the in-ring product, overall, less people watched. Now, they watched over social media, of course. TV-wise, ratings-wise, it went down, but that could be because of the change in how we view entertainment, period. Who knows? But regardless of what that might be, less people watched. The more we got further into the in-ring product and away from characters and stories, the less people cared. And so now wrestling is a niche audience. And it's fine. It's still thriving. It's still great. As long as the wrestling is amazing, you'll always be making money. But you're not growing. And as I grew up and I realized, I want these men and women who are great at what they do to be seen by the biggest audience possible. I want them to make money. I want them to have long careers. And I want them to be remembered for generations. Not everybody's going to get that, but I want all of them to at least have the chance to get that. I started to appreciate characters and storylines more. I started to appreciate the promos a little bit more. Started to become a little bit more keen and aware of the small things, a certain taunt, a certain catchphrase that made people go, hell yeah. Here's $100. Here's $50. I want to watch that show. Oh man, I want to come back again next week. And the next week. And the next week. Oh man, I want to tell this person next door, you gotta come watch this, bro. All that other stuff doesn't matter. Watch what Cody Rhodes does. Watch what CM Punk does. Watch what Kenny Omega does. I don't care about all the rest of that stuff. Watch what Tony Storm does. I love in-ring action. I love wrestling, and I will never stop loving the in-ring aspect. But I had to come to the conclusion that what I want and what I love, I can't make that the one thing that's going to make everybody love it. So I've come to the conclusion that the biggest mistake we're seeing, the biggest issue I have is that there's not enough. There's not enough stories, there's not enough characters, and we have way too much wrestling. And what I mean by that is this. The matches are way too long. Matches are bloated. And it's on both shows. More so in AEW. But it's like we have so much wrestling. And yes, all of it's great. But it's just people going in there and wrestling. Very little stories, very little plot, very little characters. Where are we doing? Where are we going? Where's all this building to? And I am someone that grew up during a time of the Monday Night Wars. And what they did back then, this is on WCW and WWF, the weekly television was nothing but squash matches, segments, and character development. Yes, you had big matches here and there. You had title changes here and there. You had world title defenses here and there. IC title, US title. I'm not saying don't put the big matches on Raw or SmackDown. That's stupid. Some of my favorite matches happened on Raw and SmackDown. Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, that Iron Man match. SmackDown. Not pay-per-view, SmackDown. Goldberg versus Hulk Hogan. Monday Night Raw. Not pay-per-view, Monday Night Raw. Yeah, I think you should have big-time matches on these shows. But primarily, only do those matches when there's enough build-up for it. Right? When there's enough demand for it. You get me? In the meantime, I think the weekly television should be basically focused on who are these people, why are they fighting, why are they here, and why should I care? The stories, setting up their characters, squash matches, let me see what they can do. Tournament matches, contendership matches, every once in a while, big time championship matches to, remind us why these guys are champions. You gotta have them defend the belts here and there. But for the most part, I think the primary usage of these weekly shows should be making us care with the stories and the characters. And then, now this is the big one. If you watched me this far, I appreciate it. when we get to the pay-per-views, PLEs, special events, that's when we get nothing but straight up, hardcore, technical, in-ring, non-stop action wrestling. And I'm talking about high-flying, hardcore, technical, grappling, brawls, ground and pound, balls to the walls, in-ring action. But I think for us to appreciate that, we just need less of it. We're doing too much of it. Too much of one thing is never good. And we've gotten so far away from storylines and characters that we're so focused on, hey, that match was good, right? The in-ring product was good. I'm like, that's great, but who the fuck was that? Why should I care about these people? Why are they wrestling? I know I sound like a hypocrite, and you know what? Call me a hypocrite. I've gotten away from the very... Let's hit the table. Are we good? We're still good. I've gotten away from, in my opinion, made this channel what it is. I've changed. But sometimes in life, if you're not changing, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. I still love wrestling, and I still think it should matter. It should be a primary focus, but not all the time. There are going to be some times where storylines and characters need to take the forefront. You need it all. You need the characters so people can invest in them. You need stories for people to invest in them. You need the reason for these characters to exist and to explain why they are the way they are. And then you need them to have these big time, amazing matches with great spots and great moments and hardcore, in your face, chest slaps, suplexes, 450s, 630s, crazy spots, hardcore action, blood, guts, whatever. All of it. You need all of it. But it's how you set it up. It's the presentation of it all. And I think going forward in 2024, I would like to see less of the long matches and more focus on storylines and characters for the weekly shows. Do a squash match here and there. I miss the days when I would get a 5-minute match or an 8-minute match. Don't do a 30-second match. Have them have some type of matches in there, but it doesn't need to go, goddamn. Not every match needs to go 15 minutes or 30 minutes. I would like it if some of these matches went 5 minutes, 8 minutes. Let's make some more time for the people who don't get screen time. Make use of your talent roster more. I think this would benefit AEW more than WWE, because WWE has like 7 hours of television. I don't think they have a choice. WWE doesn't have a choice. They have 3 hours of Raw. They probably have to, to fill up this TV time, the matches have to go long. And so hopefully when they get a new TV deal, maybe with Warner Brothers, maybe with someone else, they can go to 2 hours and we can have less, because less is more. AEW, they have all the time in the world to just go, all right, you know what? Let's just have a story focused show here. And let's not get it twisted here. Storylines and characters aren't exclusive. They aren't exclusive to WWE. I don't know why people think that. Only WWE does storylines and characters. No, you idiots. Storylines and characters are not exclusive to one company. That is an essential for all aspects of entertainment. You have a football team that doesn't win a championship in 20 years. You're going to be more invested in that football team when they're in the Super Bowl, because there's a story of them not winning. Now you want them to have their achievement. It's going to be so much. It's going to mean so much more for that football team to win, because they were struggle and triumph. Storytelling is not just exclusive to wrestling. What's wrong with y'all? It's in movies. It's in sports. It's in all kinds of things when it comes to entertainment. You need stories. You need reasons for people to care. That's the whole point of having them. And I'm sick and tired of seeing these men and women bust their asses, have these 5-star matches, chase these star ratings, and no one give a fuck. I am sick of it. They're shortening their lifespans and then going to these arenas with only 2,000 people. I'm sick of seeing that. That is not what I want. And so if we need to cut back on wrestling, put some more characters and actual legit cool characters with really good storytelling and good storylines, people who are good at writing them or people who are good at constructing them, to make people go, all right, you know what? We'll go to the pay-per-views or come to these shows to see these guys wrestle. Then you know what? Do it. I am tired, sick and tired of these men and women not getting the TV time that they, not just the TV time, but getting the attention that they truly deserve. I look at people like Swerve Strickland, who is the best of both worlds. He's great inside the ring, but also a really good storyteller, and he has a legit character. Toni Storm, the best of both worlds. Awesome inside the ring, beautiful woman to look at, and a great character to tune into every single week. Roman Reigns, when he was the shield-vested, boring, monotoned main eventer that was gonna be Brock Lesnar, but for some reason couldn't at WrestleMania, but then beat him at SummerSlam with the help of Braun Strowman. Doesn't really matter. When he was boring Roman Reigns, no one cared. The moment he became the tribal chief, blew up. Rocky Maivia, when he was walking around trying to represent the family, Rocky Maivia was boring as hell. But then he became The Rock, shooting out catchphrases. You couldn't stop him. You need the characters. You need the stories. And then on top of that, you need the high quality in-ring action to blow it all off. You need everything. So I would like to see more focus on stories and characters in 2024. And look, please don't make me make another video a year from now saying, okay, we've gone too far in this direction. Let's get back to some wrestling. Can we find a happy median? Please. Like, I want good in-ring action, but let's just get more stories and characters in. Let's do less of it for the weekly shows and give it all to us on pay-per-views. Make us pay for the dream matches. It's a dream match? Cool. Make me pay for it. Make me pay for it. In the meantime, get me salivating with the weekly shows with storylines and characters and whatever you can to make me care. And that's what I want. Again, I've changed. I'm a different person now. I'm not Alyx, man. That's why I'm just Alyx. Because I feel like I've gotten wiser and smarter to what really works in wrestling. I think we all have. When I was younger, I thought stupid shit and said stupid shit. And now as I get older, I get more wiser. I get more intelligent. I get more knowledge on how this thing works. And so, hopefully, you guys still care about me and you haven't unsubscribed. Screw Alyx. He's not who he used to be. And you know what? I'm not. People change. But I still love wrestling. And I'm still passionate about it. It's just my tastes and my views on it have. I won't say they've altered. They've just updated. They upgraded. I don't know. Am I crazy? Is this just a video for the jaded wrestling fan? I don't know. You guys let me know. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there are going to be people in the comments. Oh, you don't know what you want. Right? Well, you probably won't see it because it'll be deleted anyways, right? You can't just come up here and insult me on my video or on my channel. It's just going to be deleted. At least be constructive with your criticism. But yeah, like, if you want to say that, look, man, look, I liked you better when you was Alyx, man, and you talked more about the wrestling aspect about it because that's what I like. Fair enough. You can have that. But this is how I am now. And hopefully going into 2024, we get more into developing the characters so people can care more about what these men and women do inside the ring. And the people who are good at it get more TV time. The ones who aren't, let them get the TV time, but let them work on it. Let them work on it behind the scenes. Let them work on it on NXT, ROH, and other indie companies. And then when they're ready to perform, when they've mastered the craft, the small things that take them from being just a regular wrestler to legends and superstars, the world is yours. I want that for all of them. For the women and the men. AEW, WWE. I want this business to thrive. That's what I want. Because when they thrive, I thrive. Because that's what really matters. Me thriving. No, but in reality, I love this business. And I think if that's what it takes, Let's knock it out the park. So let me know what you guys think. Am I crazy? Leave me your thoughts down below. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section. Leave me your thoughts in the live chat if you're watching this live. And you know what, guys? Happy holidays. Thank you guys for making this 2023 one of the most successful, incredible growth years I've ever had. I don't think I've had these many people subscribe to me ever. Ever. And I'm so happy to say that it's all because you guys continue to watch me, like the videos, and comment. And hopefully you stick around for 2024. So, alright y'all, thank y'all for watching. Do all the YouTube things, like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cashapp, and Venmo. Alright, the last 2 videos for the year. The end of the year awards. That's coming next. That one's gonna be an upload. It's not gonna be live. The last will be alive. That will be the AEW World's End pay-per-view review. But the end of the year awards will be an upload. I figured, let's do live one year and then do upload the next year and just switch it. So next year it'll be a live stream and we'll go from there. But ultimately, God bless you. Thank you for continuing to support me. And always know, whether you're mad at me right now or whether you still enjoy what I have to say, you are always welcomed right here in Alyx's world. The place that is, was, and forever will be a safe space for wrestling fans like you. See you later. When you're